Hi, my name is Esther. I did my undergrad here at UTM. I did an honors Bachelor's of Science in Psychology and Sociology, and now I'm doing my Master's of Clinical Science in Speech-Language Pathology at Western University. At the beginning, I said I wanted to do research, but after some time, I realized that maybe research wasn't for me. So I started exploring different career paths, and coincidentally, my brother, he's a PSW, he had mentioned speech-language pathologist. So I looked into it a little bit more, and I saw that that was something that really spoke to me. I realized that I wanted to do something more clinical, more hands-on. So that's what I looked into deeply, and I realized maybe this is the career for me. I chose the program specifically because, at least in Ontario, that's the program that we have to complete to practice as speech-language pathologists. But I chose Western as the school to attend because one cool thing about Western is that they have an in-house clinic, which is actually in the building where we have most of our classes. So having that in-house clinic is pretty nice. We do our first clinical placements there as students. And the school in general, I heard great things about it. It has a big community. So it was really nice to meet a lot of people and just build friendships in a very easy way, I think, compared to previous experience I've had. So it was a really nice school. I can talk about how it was during my first semester. That's what I've done so far. And for me, it was mostly just classes. So classes almost 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. I'd go to class in the morning. We'd have a short break in between classes. I'd be able to catch up with my friends during that time, have lunch, do a little bit more studying. In our building, we have a little lounge. It has a ping pong table, so a lot of people go in and play ping pong too during the break. But after that, we'll have another class, and classes are usually about hour and a half. And after that, in the afternoon, most of us will just go home. Other people head to the gym, or in the evening, my friends and I will have little social gatherings where we'll just get together at someone's house and watch a show or something, or continue studying. But it was mostly studying first semester, a lot of classes. I think having a stronger background in anatomy would have been really helpful. That's one of the classes we take in our first semester. And it's a really great class. It sets you up with what you need to know. But having prior knowledge would have been a little bit more helpful in my case. I think also having strong collaborative skills. That's a really big one. I learned that there are a lot of group projects in our program, and not just group projects with people in our program, but also in other programs as well. So tied with that, I also think having strong time management skills is really, really, really important. In the program, you have to learn to juggle all of your classes. Sometimes people decide to do extracurriculars. Some people have jobs. Because you have projects with people in different programs, everyone has their own schedule. So you kind of have to learn how to work around that and set times that work for everyone to complete those projects together and make sure work is getting done. I think it's the fact that everyone that I've spoken to, they have that shared interest of speech-language pathology. They have the same passion for it as I do. So it's been really, really nice getting to know people, having these conversations with them related to the field and the job. And it's amazing. Honestly, I don't think I was able to do this earlier, and I didn't have people who shared this interest. So definitely the most fulfilling thing right now. I think the biggest academic challenge has been moving from that mentality of trying to get the highest grade possible to just focusing on learning. At least in our program, your grades do matter, but they don't have as much weight as they did in undergrad. So for me, at least, trying to move from that mentality of, I need to try to aim for a 4.0 in every single class, that's been really hard. I think thankfully I have like a really good group of friends that they're going through the same thing as well. So I think it's really helped that we have these conversations together. But also some of the professors, we've had these conversations with them as well. They try to tell us, that it's not really like your grades that matter at the end of the day. It's what you've learned, and just making sure that we have this learning mentality. So I think that definitely has been the biggest academic challenge, but having that group of people to support you, to have conversations with, that's been super, super helpful. I say this now, maybe it might change in the future, but I hope to possibly work in a hospital setting, primarily with adults and swallowing. So that's really what I'm interested in right now. I think it's important to try to get experience, whether it be like working in this sort of setting or volunteering. This is really for any sort of career. I think volunteering or working in that environment is helpful before you really make a concrete decision, just because you're able to see what the environment is like and determine whether or not it actually is for you. Another piece of advice I would give is possibly reaching out to SLPs that are local. You can email them, ask about how their experience was, what areas they work in. Try to talk to SLPs that work in different areas just to see like how different it is depending on the types of populations they work with, the settings they work in. Well, I have not, just because I've only done one semester. I haven't done clinical placement yet in grad school, but I do have prior experience as a speech-language pathology assistant, and I do think that clinical experience helped a lot. Definitely when I'm in class, we're learning about certain concepts. Sometimes I'll remember something that happened when I worked as an SLPA, and it'll help me make more connections with that concept. I'm able to understand it better. It'll remind me of clients I had, so it kind of sticks with me a lot more. I think, and I've heard this a lot from people, I think the scope of practice of SLPs, a lot of people think that it's just with kids, teaching them how to speak, but SLPs, they work with children, they work with adults, they work with teenagers, they work with everyone really in lifespan. And they don't just work with speech and language, but they also work with swallowing disorders, patients who have, after they've had strokes, other traumatic brain injuries. So yeah, it's a pretty broad scope of practice. They do more than what people think. I'm into speech-language pathology field because I have a really big passion for speech and language, but now that I've learned a lot more about the field, I'm really into swallowing disorders. I'm hoping that with all the knowledge that I learned at school, I'm able to help minorities a lot more and give them the help and resources that they deserve, and make sure that equitable services are provided to them. I know, like working as an SLPA, I saw that a lot, and it was really nice. It was really fulfilling, and I saw it in clients and their families that that's what they needed. It was a way that they were able to be heard a lot more. So I'm hoping that I can continue that in the future, but with more skills, more knowledge, and hopefully more people surrounding me and also being a part of that and helping minorities in a bigger way.